Hey guys, and welcome back to another video, and in this video I'm going to be going over the top 10 wins from St Kilda over the decade of 2010 to 2019. It's a bit of a trend, the video that's been going on. Kate McDonald and the pair have done it for Melbourne and Port Adelaide respectively, but I thought I'd chip in and go with my the best St Kilda games of the decade. And yeah, we'll just review over the best games in my opinion, and I'm going to probably go over a top 10. Unbelievably, this is also my first video that I've made in December on my whole channel, and with over 165 videos, you would have thought that I would have had at least one December upload. So at number 10, this game was included in my best games that I've been to, but I'm going to put in Essendon versus St Kilda. I still reckon the game where we beat them by 110 points was one of our better games for the year, because out of the games that we played this decade, we've only won by over 100 points 3 times. I'm pretty sure it might have been 4, but to have a 100-point win against a pretty decent side, whilst we weren't doing so good at the time, is definitely a good thing. And I know Essendon didn't make the finals that year, but it was still just a really good game to go to. I reckon that's my 10th best game of the year. At number 9, I'm going with a game that was this year. It's a recent game. Unfortunately, I needed to go to the game because I had footy, but it's St Kilda versus Fremantle 2019. This was actually a really good game. Unfortunately, I didn't get to watch the first half because of footy, but the second half, it was just, honestly, we should have been a lot more in front. The free kick count was just horrendous in the Fremantle's favour. The umpires were terrible. We wasted a lot of opportunities, and then Fremantle got away with us at the end, and Josh Bruce had to kick the last goal in basically the last 50 seconds to secure the win for us. And I was just really happy, because at the time we technically had a chance for finals, but we all know where that went after the next few rounds of the season. At number 8, it was a bit tough to choose, but I'm going to go with Gold Coast versus St Kilda 2018, and that was the game where we recorded a pretty big comeback, where we recorded around a 38-point comeback midway through the third quarter. Watching this game, it was an absolute shocker, pretty much from the word go. And yeah, at halftime, halfway through the third quarter, I just thought, this is horrendous. We haven't won a game since round 1, and Alan Richardson's job is basically on the line. And yeah, it was just terrible. I mean, bottom place Suns were smashing us, but we just kicked back in the last quarter. We just kept finding goals, and in the last minute and a half, Jade Gresham kicked the goal around the boundary to win us the match. And I was just jumping up and down. Even though it was a close win against Gold Coast, it still felt really good to finally get back on the winners list. In number 7, I have St Kilda versus West Coast 2017 at Marvel Stadium. Another game which I unfortunately couldn't go to as I had footy, but it was just a really good game, and basically this game kept us alive in the finals hunt, the West Coast versus St Kilda match. Sadly, we didn't make the finals that year, but at the end, Jack Billings kicked the winning goal with around a minute to go to secure a win and ensure that we still have a chance at playing finals. Not only that, but it was also it was a pretty high scoring and even match, as basically at every break it was within 1 goal apiece. So it was definitely a close game and a really thrilling game to watch. Unfortunately, I didn't get to watch the whole game, but just an awesome finish. At number 6, which is another game I had in my best games I've been to, and that was St Kilda versus Geelong 2016. So Geelong at the time were I'm pretty sure first on the ladder, and we were around 8th or 9th spot. We were doing all right. We came into the game not knowing what would happen. We were pretty good at Marvel Stadium, but Geelong were also pretty good as well. We weren't expecting a win, but then we came back at them. I think we were down by 2 or 3 goals, but we kicked back. Jade Gresham kicked a really good goal from the boundary. Jack Stephen kicked a goal, and then in the dying seconds, we ended up winning the game and we won the game by 3 points in a really nail-biting finish. And I was happy enough to go to that game. So it was just a really good game to go to. At number 5, I've got St Kilda versus Richmond 2017. And if you guys don't know it, it was Maddie's match. But from the word go, we absolutely dominated and ended up winning the first half 92-10 in what was probably the best first half we've ever scored in a long time. We almost scored 100 points in the first half. Unfortunately, we did drop off in the second half and Richmond got the better of us in the second half, but we still smashed the Tigers by 12 goals, who were eventual premiers in that year. So I know they probably didn't have the strongest team at the time, but to beat the premiership team by 12 goals in a year where you didn't make finals is a pretty good achievement. At number 4, this was kind of a tough one, the grand final 2010, because I wanted to put in just wins, but then yet again, the 2010 grand final draw was just an absolutely awesome match. And I didn't put in the top 3 just because we didn't win the game and it ultimately got smashed in the replay. But yeah, the 2010 grand final, we all know how good it was. The Brendan Goddard mark, just the intensity to get back in the second half after being 4 goals down at half time. And if we had an extra 3 or 4 minutes, we would have beaten the Pies. But yeah, that unlucky Stephen Milne bounce still haunts the Saints fans to this day. But it was an awesome match, the 2010 grand final. The drawn match, obviously.
The square, Milne will fly from behind, big pack, off hands, hacked out of midair by Armitage. 3 points the difference.
Certainly not a match-winning lead.
Hudson, Schneider, Fisher, an unlikely goal scorer. He puts them in front. Sam Fisher.
At number 3, I have Melbourne versus St. At number 3, I have St Kilda versus Melbourne in 2015. I had this game the best games I've been to all year, and looking back on it, it was just an awesome game. I mean, the fact that we beat Melbourne for in the last 11 occurrences was crazy in itself. But yeah, it was an even match pretty much all game. But yeah, at the end, Jeremy Howe kicked a goal with a minute to go, there was 40 seconds on the clock at the bounce, and we thought, yeah, we had no chance of coming back. It was going to be very hard, but yeah, out of the clearance, Jack Stephen, Montagna kicked a goal from the goal square to put us in front and ultimately win us the game. And I was just jumping up and down, screaming, couldn't believe the fact that we actually ended up winning the game, which we basically stole at the end when Melbourne got the better of us. Another 2015 game. At number 2, I've got the Bulldogs versus St Kilda, massive comeback, the 54-point halftime comeback, 55 I think it was. Yeah, basically, as I mentioned in my best games I've been to video, we were down by 49 points at halftime. Bulldogs kicked 7 goals to nothing in the second quarter, and we thought about just leaving when I was there. There was just no point. It wasn't fun, but then yet again, there's no point in leaving. So we stayed to the end. We moved seats, and that's when things started to change. Saints just strung on multiple goals. Basically, after the first Bulldogs goal in the third term, we kicked the next 7 to put us within 12 points at 3/4 time. But then the Bulldogs kicked back with 2 goals, and I thought, oh no, they're going to run away with it again. But we came back at them again, thanks to Jack Billings, and we kicked around 4 to 5 goals to eventually win the game in one of the best comebacks in AFL VFL history, top 6 or 7, really good game. Just can't believe that we actually ended up winning, and I'm really glad I got to go to that game. And at number 1, which I probably think is the best game of the decade that we've won, it was a tough one, but I'm going to go with the qualifying final, Geelong versus St Kilda in 2010. And yeah, it was just the fact that it was a final, the fact that St Kilda only played 5 finals in 2 seasons of the whole 10 seasons this decade. The fact that it was a final is good enough in itself, but the fact that we won the game by only 2 points and the way that we ended up winning was just awesome. I mean, yeah, the Cameron Ling moment where it was a push in the back by Cameron Mooney to James Gwilt, and then Ling kicked the goal. Everyone thought, oh, Geelong are going to win it because it was a wet game in the last quarter. The fact that it was raining meant it was probably going to be hard to kick another goal. So yeah, the fact that Ling scored the goal, I was pretty fuming at the time. But luckily, the decision was reversed because it was a push in the back. We ended up winning the game by 2 points in what was an awesome game. I did go to that game. I was only 7 years old, but yeah, it was still an awesome game to go to. Tough in choosing this list, but it was a final. 2010, it was the start of the decade, but I'm going to have it as number 1 spot. But yeah, this list isn't the most accurate, but that's just what I have it. And yeah, so hopefully you guys did enjoy the video of the best games, in my opinion, of St Kilda this decade. Credit to the pair and Kate and McDonald for the videos that they made of the same, like, best games of the decade. And I thought it was a good idea, so I decided to follow along with the path to St Kilda. Obviously, if I was a Melbourne or Port fan, I wouldn't have done that, but because I'm a Saints fan, it's different content and I thought it'd be good to make. Let me know further video ideas down below. Sorry for being a little bit late on this upload, just had a lot of homework, but I'll see you guys soon and see ya.